how many phases do you anticipate?
I don't know, but I don't answer to you. So,
Well, thank you.
following this,
Thank you.
the lady right there in the back row, please remove her from the building, from this room.
If he was white,
Lower your voice and do it now. Do it now.
Sir,
Do it now, you're done.
I respect you.
Okay, then I've asked you to lower your voice.
And I said I speak loudly. Don't talk to me like
Right.
nobody.
It's amazing.
All right.
Drawing a line on a map has nothing to do with your skin color, so we can let that go. This is about drawing boundaries. It doesn't
Quiet.
make anyone a racist, and it doesn't make anyone a bigot.
I am sick and tired of sitting in this room listening to good white folk talk about what ain't racist. You can sit on the sidelines, but until you play in the game, you don't have a clue about what racism really is.
If Tim O'Hare could gerrymander the guest list, he'd do it. You can speak the truth in this room or breathe wrong and suddenly security. Say one thing and he calls out his incompetence and he'll throw you out of the room faster than he throws out the Constitution.
You will be removed if you speak out again.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the Tarrant County Commissioners meeting that took place on April 2nd, 2025, and what we saw as a textbook example of political suppression wrapped in a PR disguise. At the center of it all, again, County Judge Tim O'Hare, backed, as always, by his ever loyal followers, Commissioner Manny Ramirez and Matt Krause. And once again, the target was on Commissioner Elisa Simmons' back. If you've been following these meetings, you already know the dynamic. Tim O'Hare has made it crystal clear how much he disrespects and dislikes Commissioner Simmons. Meeting after meeting, he talks over her, shuts her down, and disrespects her, and treats her like an unwelcome guest at the table, simply because she does what she was elected to do: represent the people in her district and hold the power accountable.
Well, I'll run my Twitter, but I'm the one talking now, so you'll sit there and be quiet and listen while I talk, and then you can talk later. You will
have to talk. Look up.
Okay.
Look up.
have a semblance of class. That's all you have to do, just a semblance.
Class.
So Tim O'Hare and his two followers, Ramirez and Krause, devised a plan to take out Commissioner Elisa Simmons. They brought in the Public Interest Legal Foundation, otherwise known as PILF, a far-right organization notorious for pushing voter suppression policies across the country. Their mission in Tarrant County is to redraw the political map to break up Simmons' diverse base of supporters in District 2. This scheme is known as gerrymandering, manipulating district lines to rig the political playing field in favor of those already in power. And the public knew exactly what was going on. Outraged residents packed the room. 77 people signed up to speak, and the overwhelming majority were those to condemn this blatant attempt to silence voters and remove Commissioner Simmons, who represents them and who they support. So what did Tim O'Hare do in response? In true authoritarian fashion, he cut the public speaking time down to 1 minute each. Barely enough time to say your name, let alone lay out a decent argument.
We're going to get to the speakers now. There are 77 of you, which at least signed up. I don't know how many are actually here. But according to the decorum policy that we passed, whenever it was, a couple months ago, I suppose, everybody's time is limited to 1 minute. Some things that I'm going to say now, and we are going to follow. We are going to maintain decorum. There will be no yelling. There will be no clapping. You will be removed if you speak out again.
If you were listening closely, you could hear the sighs of disbelief of the people there in attendance when Tim O'Hare said he was cutting everybody's time down to 1 minute. And that is because earlier that same morning, Tim O'Hare wasted a huge chunk of everybody's time reading off a long, drawn-out list of county employees' work anniversaries, complete with what they liked about their jobs and how they spend their weekends. It was a huge waste of time that dragged on and on. And while recognizing those employees, he let them laugh, interrupt, and disrupt the meeting without consequences. He even encouraged it by laughing along with them. But when it's regular citizens clapping at a public injustice, he throws them out. That's the double standard. That's the control, and that is the hypocrisy.
Criminal district attorney. She was born in Kermit, Texas. Graduated from Nolan High School, which college at UTA, law school at Baylor. Has 2 sons and 4 grandchildren. She likes to eat ice cream for dinner. You don't look like you eat ice cream for dinner. Likes to go skiing, snow skiing with her family. Her most memorable moment was the time a defense expert witness congratulated her in front of the jury following her cross-examination of him on the stand. That was a guilty verdict. And what she likes most, just participating in the prosecution of criminals to help victims of crimes and working alongside some very brilliant colleagues. Thank you very much for what you do. We appreciate you very much.
I'll take that day off, Judge.
Okay. Everybody's very special. Maria, who takes care of us up here at this building so well, is incredibly special. So, all right.
That's why I call it the horse and pony show. Nothing more than a late-term abortion. How much money in attorney allotments are we going to continue to rack up? These payments only go as a recourse and recompense to the real people that you see as your enemy. That is Commissioner Simmons, because she's the only one that has the audacity to cry out against this beastly jail. If you have nothing else to do, I suggest you go back to your original purpose as commissioner. Take some time to deal with these erroneous, massive mismanagement of fiduciary funds and do something about the roads and the streets. That's what you've been called to do. If Anthony Johnson Jr. was the sheriff's son, if he was male, if he was white,
Lower your voice and do it now. Do it now.
Sir,
do it now.
I
You're done.
respect you.
Okay, then I'm asking you to lower your voice.
And I said I speak loudly. Don't talk to me like
Right.
I'm nobody.
All right.
Anyway.
First item up is item P1.
I move to reject.
Okay. The item is consideration and possible action to approve a legal services agreement between Tarrant County and the Public Interest Legal Foundation. All right, so we have a motion to reject. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the court members before we bring up voters, speakers?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I moved that we reject the proposed agreement for these redistricting services because I have profound objections concerning the proposed contract with Public Interest Legal Foundation. This matter demands our utmost scrutiny, since its implications extend far beyond a simple contractual agreement. We are discussing the very foundation of our democratic process, the fair and equitable representation of our constituents. The organization exists solely in order to undermine the voting strength of minority voters. If my colleagues support this law firm, they are engaging in intentional discrimination against minority voters, putting this county at risk of more litigation. Did anybody spend any time looking at this firm? If you spend an hour or so online Googling PILF or PILF activities, you'll find a rap sheet of this organization being sued over and over again for their shady, discriminatory practices.
Good morning, Judge O'Hara and fellow commissioners. My name is Jason Ballman. I'm here because I refuse to accept a system where power protects itself. I'm a resident of Tarrant County, a taxpayer, and someone who believes in the fundamental promise of American democracy that the people choose their leaders, not the other way around. What you're proposing here today is not redistricting, it's calculated rigging. It's an attempt to gerrymander the voice of the people into silence. Hiring a conservative think tank with taxpayer dollars to redraw 2 precincts in Tarrant County isn't governance, it's manipulation. It's a deliberate attempt to rig the map, silence voters, and cling to power. Precincts 1 and 2 are home to some of the most diverse, dynamic, and civically engaged communities in all of Texas. You're not just redrawing lines, you're redrawing lives. You're silencing black and brown voters. You can't redraw a community. You can't erase conscience, and you can't outmaneuver a movement. We will organize, we will litigate, we will vote.
My name is Carla Palomares, resident of Precinct 4. For context today, I want to state the definition of gerrymandering. It's the practice of dividing or arranging of territorial or geographical region into electoral districts in a way that gives a political party an unfair advantage in the overall electoral process in elections. Voters in Texas are probably some of the most familiar with this unethical practice. With the modern means available, we know that people can be divided and arranged based on their race, their political identity, their age, their zip code, so many other factors. Tim O'Hare, I do not trust in your decision and your authority as the county judge to hijack our county redistricting and county elections process, which has been a well-known endeavor of yours that you've campaigned on and have carried out under the guise of election integrity and government transparency. That's one consideration of why I didn't vote for you. You're actively trying to silence the voices of marginalized people, black, brown, poor, as well as dissenting voices that have shown up here, and that's unacceptable. Your proposal is a fundamentally wasteful, inefficient, discriminatory, racist, politically charged, secretive, and outright negligent use of our tax dollars. It's very much an attempt to defraud Tarrant County voters.
You're trying to silence Ms. Commissioner Simmons and her precinct. Let me close by saying the person you called the most classless person on this court came to Keller ISD, spent time listening to the citizens.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Good afternoon, Judge O'Hare and Commissioners. My name is Jolynn Potenza. I'm a taxpayer and a resident of Tarrant County for over 20 years. Today, I stand in support of the proposed agreement between Tarrant County and the Public Interest Legal Foundation to consult redrawing our boundary lines. We have grown over almost 500,000 since the last time our county the boundary drawing lines were drawn. So it's time to revisit that. Drawing a line on the map has nothing to do with your skin color, so we can let that go. This is about drawing boundaries. It doesn't make anyone a racist, and it doesn't make anyone a bigot. It means drawing lines on a map as they should be done equally among each precinct. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Ms.
Unethical, unnecessary, untimely, unjust, and unjustified. These are just a few adjectives to describe what is being proposed here today. The real descriptor is racial gerrymandering. There is no legal or even political justification for redistricting commissioner precincts in the middle of a decade. The current map was reviewed and approved after the 2020 census. So what has happened that would suddenly call for a change? Could it be that more black and brown folks have moved into a precinct that was once gerrymandered for Republican and they have now been consistently voting Democrat since 2018? Or is it that the current commissioner representing that precinct is an outspoken and unapologetic advocate, not only for those whom she represents within her precinct, but for all of the citizens of Tarrant County? That she has gone into places where others wouldn't go and has made allies with unlikely officials on the other side of the aisle? As a resident of Precinct 2 who is extremely proud of my current representation in Commissioner Simmons, I am vehemently opposed to wasting my taxpayer dollars so you can ultimately try to take my vote away. In 2026, remember that no matter what happens here today, they cannot redistrict or gerrymander your individual vote away.
Chris Dobson, I reside in Arlington, and I have not been prouder of a county commissioner than Ms. Simmons. She has had town halls where people in the community can come and speak and address our elected officials, including the sheriff, about issues they have in our community. I don't see that plainly from anybody else. I've seen, Mr. O'Hare, that you had an event in Mansfield with Kezia Farr and Julie Short. I think they're elected officials down there. But this seems to go against the entire process of integrity in our elections, not unlike Ms. Farr's inclusion of an ineligible candidate in the Mansfield School Board. Not unlike a number of other issues we've seen. This seems to be a partisan effort, and
thank you.
It's disgusting.
Is Mr. Gonzalez?
I rise in strong opposition to the redrawing of precinct boundaries. You can't redraw boundaries simply because it's no longer advantageous to your power grab. It appears to me that this move is to remove opposition voices, especially strong Africans of the diaspora women. Judge O'Hara, over many meetings we have witnessed your utter disrespect for Commissioner Simmons. This is the first step to disenfranchise minority constituents. This boils down to a racist move, a move of disrespect for those who are voiceless. These boundaries were all good when I was Republican, but now that the demographic has changed, we need to crack and pack Precinct 2. Let's return to the goal.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
Let's make Precinct 2 white again.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. Mr. Horgan.
I am speaking on behalf of House District 101, State Representative Chris Turner. The legislature is in session in Austin, otherwise I would be present. Tarrant County Commissioner Precincts 1 and 2 are majority-minority districts where minority voters have repeatedly demonstrated the ability to elect the candidates of their choice. This is an unconstitutional and a violation of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and would expose Tarrant County taxpayers to costly litigation, a less productive use of our tax dollars. Since you don't like the decisions made by the voters, Republican candidates should campaign harder and do a better job of appealing to minority voters rather than trying to silence their voices through racially discriminatory redistricting. I can unequivocally say that our community strongly supports the leaderships of Commissioner Alisa Simmons as we did Commissioner Devin Allen.
Good afternoon, members of the court. My name is Nicholas Trejak. I'm a resident of Precinct 3 in the city of Fort Worth. I come before the court today to express my disapproval of this item and urge the court to vote against it. As I stated, I am a resident of Fort Worth, but I'm also a resident of Keller ISD. When our district faced a similar threat of reshaping, one of the only elected officials in our county that stood with us in our fight for our district was Commissioner Simmons. She stood in one of our meetings for 5 hours just to make her 1-minute public comment and offer her support in our right to a vote. I stand here echoing those same demands here today. The people of the second deserve that same right in 2026 as they did in 2023. Commissioner Simmons, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your leadership and your courage you displayed in standing up for the people of this county and the people of Keller ISD when our commissioner would not and effectively endorse their plan to split our district by resolution. And with that, I urge the court to vote against this item. It is in the best interest of the people of Tarrant County. Thank you.
Woodley, we have Gabrielle Gordon.
Good afternoon, Court. Gina Woodley. I'm in favor of the proposed agreement with PIL for a consultation in adopting a new district map. And I did Google them, and I picked just one of many favorable sites, Charity Navigator, who gave an 86% rating on their accountability, trustworthiness, and finance. Drawing of the district should always be fair, not catering to any party of voters. No voters will be suppressed, and all will still have a voice. I worked on both of Andy Wynn's campaigns and saw firsthand how a district can be so highly conscried towards one party with no chance of the other party having their voices heard and represented. And this is not racist. People of all colors can move within all these districts, and you cannot put a price on being fair. A lot has changed within the last 4 years, and the cost will be more if we don't provide fair and balanced districts. Thank you.
Buenas tardes. My name is Maricela Ramino. I am reading a statement on behalf of Representative Salman Bujani, who is busy in Austin right now. Attempting a mid-decade gerrymander is a blatant attempt to divide minority neighborhoods and silence the voices of already underrepresented Texans. Beyond this discriminatory intent, as the vice chairman of the House Doge Committee, I'm appalled at the wasteful spending of our constituents' money. Instead of trying to win elections by adopting popular policies, redistricting supporters want to give tens of thousands of dollars to taxpayer money to a partisan legal group from out of state to create a plan that will cost thousands more to defend in court. I proudly stand with the Tarrant County's minority voters, and I'll work to protect their voice any way I can. Thank you.
Following Bishop Kirkland, we have Carrington Sneed.
This is the three-headed monster we have here. I am sick and tired of sitting in this room listening to good white folk talk about what ain't racist. You can sit on the sidelines, but until you play in the game, you don't have a clue about what racism really is. The thing that this is really about, what it's really about, take all the manure off. It's about that colored woman right there. It's about the fact that she will stand up to a white man openly and in public and will not allow him to talk to her like she is her 3-year-old child. That's why all of the redistricting, all of a sudden now, is to get rid of Commissioner Simmons. Don't play the game. This is not monopoly money. This is real money. You know why you're doing it, and you call yourself Christians, and you sit there with all your prayers and your piousness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Following Miss,
Thank you.
the lady right there in the back row, please remove her from the building, from this room. Miss Sneed or Carrington Sneed present? All right, following Mr. Sneed, we have Tara Maldonado Wilson.
Thank you, sis.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Carrington Sneed, and I'm here on behalf of the Tarrant County Young Democrats. First off, they call it redistricting, but let's call it what it really is, gerrymandering. And Tim O'Hare is doing everything in his power to draw the line so he can consolidate power because deep down, he's afraid. Afraid of black voters, afraid of democracy, afraid of a country that doesn't look like him and one he can't control. He's not just drawing maps, he's building walls around power because he knows if people had a fair shot, he'd be out of a job yesterday. And let's be honest, y'all, if Tim O'Hare could gerrymander the guest list, he'd do it. You can speak the truth in this room or breathe wrong and suddenly security. Say one thing and he calls out his incompetence and he'll throw you out of the room faster than he throws out the Constitution. And for anyone who says, well, we're a republic, not a democracy, I say a republic without democratic values is just a dictatorship with better branding. But we're not going anywhere because we believe in fair maps, fair votes, and fair shots for every Texan.
Thank you.
Buenos dias and good morning. Respectfully, I'm not here expecting this court to change its mind. I'm here because people are watching and asking new questions. In 2021, you attempted to disrupt District 2, scattering a multiracial coalition into districts designed to dilute their power. You redrew District 1, held by a black commissioner since 1984, pulling in white conservative suburbs. This is not a new practice. It just reinforces the truth. This system was never meant to represent us. And it's not just Tarrant County, the last major urban stronghold in Texas where Republicans control and suppress, and where the state Democratic Party forgets. We've tried coalitions, we've even saved elections, and yet we've been handed surveillance, underfunded schools, underfundable housing, and empty promises. How long are we going to wait for the system to love us back? Before we were Democrats or Republicans, we were black, we were brown, we were indigenous, we were workers, and we still are. This system isn't broken, it works, just not for the actual majority. I'm here to say let's stop waiting. We don't need their tables, we've already started building our own. It's time we remove our labor, our culture, and trillions in economic contributions. Draw whatever lines you like. Your maps don't need to tell us anymore where you don't want us until you need us.
I would make a motion to approve the legal services agreement.
Second. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the legal services agreement between Tarrant County and the Public Interest Legal Foundation. Any further discussion?
Yes. So how did you choose? So were you the one that chose the firm, or was it purchasing? Was it staff? Who chose the firm?
Staff did not choose the firm. These are people that I researched and found.
Okay. And so you didn't think it important to maybe ask all 5 of us if we had firms in mind that could competitively participate in a competitive process?
I probably handled it the exact same way you handle every single item you put on an agenda. You don't ever discuss with us if something should be on the agenda, and
you don't know that.
Well, I know you don't discuss it with me.
I discuss it with staff.
Yeah, so no, I did not discuss it. Obviously, with the 4 of you, you know I didn't.
I mean, I get the advice of staff. So also, so that contract said the $30,000 for the initial phase. How many phases do you anticipate?
I don't know, but I don't answer to you. So,
well, you put something on the agenda.
Vote the way you want.
I will, but you put something on the damn agenda, so you ought to be able to speak to it. If you didn't have staff research it for you, you ought to be able to speak to it. almighty.
How many times have you put things on the agenda without running it through the staff? I mean,
I don't do that.
you've done it so many times.
Okay.
Goodness gracious.
So what
I'm
is
not gonna
happening?
answer
What's
any of
happening
your
after
questions.
the initial? What's happening after the initial phase?
What is the initial phase?
It's in your contract.
I just told you. Well, if you've read the contract, you know what happens. Why are you asking me?
What happens after the initial phase? This contract says it's for the initial phase.
I think I just went through that whole thing sitting here.
Okay, what? Nobody got it.
But I'm
And then how much?
Respectfully, I'm not going to
How
answer
much
your
is
questions.
the second phase?
Judge O'Hare. Respectfully, I'm not going to answer your questions or be cross-examined by you.
Judge O'Hare.
You're the only one that's not.
Sure.
May I be recognized?
People in this room.
Judge O'Hare, may I be recognized?
You will be removed if you speak out again.
May I be recognized?
Certainly.
I call the question.
Okay.
So Commissioner Ramirez called a question right there, which stumped the county attorney. They went into a recess. When they came back, they voted to use PILF's services, even though the majority of the public were vehemently against it. But Judge Tim O'Hare, Matt Krause, and Ramirez don't care what their constituents think. This is not leadership. It's a power grab, plain and simple. And it's aimed directly at silencing the voices that dare to speak up. I'm Harvey Freebird. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe this video everywhere. And I'll see y'all later.